And welcome to the Rio Olympic Arena in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. It's women's wheelchair basketball, the semifinal between Great Britain and the USA. A much anticipated semifinal matchup against a team that went undefeated through their preliminary round match and a team which suffered only one loss in theirs. And the teams match up pretty well, actually, both dependent on two players, Helen Freeman and Amy Conroy for the British, and Rebecca Murray and Rose Holloman for the Americans.
Yeah, Mike, and what's interesting here is, of course, the American women haven't actually made a final, a major final, World Championships or a Paralympic Games final since 2010. So they're under pressure to make a major final, the Paralympic Games. First time they'll have got there since 2008. Great Britain, the first time ever. Let's meet the teams.
Introducing them in ascending numerical order. Number 2 was Gail Gang. Number 4, Megan Blunk. Number 5, Darlene Hunter. 8, Natalie Schneider. 9, Desi Miller. 10, Jennifer Poist. 11 is Vanessa Erskine. 12, Becca Murray. 15, Rose Hollerman. 23, Abby Duncan. 24, Christina Schwab with the headband coming out now, and 33 is Mackenzie Soldan.
And of course the co-captains for the Americans, Geng and Schwab. Schwab, 5-time Paralympian. She's a fantastic player, but Rebecca Murray and Rose Holloman, the real starlets points-wise for the Americans.
And now the team from Great Britain, starting with number 4, Charlotte Moore. She had her 18th birthday when Britain won their quarterfinal match. Now the birthday present that was. 5 is Sophie Carrigill. 6, Claire Griffiths. 7, Helen Freeman. 8 is Laurie Williams. 9, Judith Hammer. 10, Amy Conroy. 11, Katie Morrow. 12, Leah Evans. 13, Jordana Bartlett. 14, Joy Hazelden. And 15 is Robin Love. They're the youngest team in the tournament, and they were the world champions last year in Beijing, under 25.
And that's a hugely significant thing, because we said they've never played in a Paralympic or a World Championship semi-final. They've won gold in an under 25 World Championships. That's massively significant and a nerve settler for this team.
And now with the teams lined up on the respective foul lines, we'll hear the two national anthems, beginning with the national anthem of the United States, the Star Spangled Banner. And now the national anthem of Great Britain, God Save the Queen. And now the teams can come together, and you saw referee Matt Wells indicating that to them. They exchange gifts at midcourt. Sometimes difficult in these games because they do it number by number, and sometimes they're wearing warm-up jerseys. They don't quite know who they're supposed to give it to, and now they'll pass through. They'll greet the referees, trying to give them a little bit of encouragement and maybe curry a little bit of favor. The officials and coaches exchange gifts as well. The referees don't get gifts, though. I find that significant.
Well, yeah, fair enough. The interesting thing here as well is the Americans and the Brits know each other very well. There are the British team list. Look out for one of the co-captains, Sophie Carrigal, the number 5. The other one's Helen Freeman. Laurie Williams has been in fine form here. Amy Conroy also shooting superbly. Joy Hazelden is an exciting youngster. Mars Thompson used to be the defensive coordinator of the US team. He took them to the London 2012 games as part of the US setup, where they finished 4th. Here, he's head coach of Great Britain.
And there is the team for the US. Their 2 players, as you said at the top, Rebecca Murray, Rose Hollerman, will be the 2 that they go to, and they will generally come down and line up on opposite sides of the field low, and that can open up things for other players. There's the coach of the US team, the aptly named Stephanie Wheeler.
Yeah, and Wheeler, a Illinois coach as well. That's where Helen Freeman went. These 2 played each other in 2012, and it's partly going to boil down to how Helen Freeman copes with playing against a team she knows so well and who know her so well. The British fans have travelled in force.
And it's interesting, too, because Laurie Williams played at the University of Alabama, which is the same place that Desi Miller played for the U.S. Certain programs attract the players. There is the starting lineup for Britain. No real surprises there.
No, none really. Carrigal's played superbly this competition. Freeman is hitting big points for the GB team, and Conroy offers height for Great Britain. For the USA, Gail Geng, the captain, starts. Desi Miller coming in at number 9, coming into the starting 5. Darlene Hunter will work hard. Rebecca Murray will be hitting shots from all over.
And that's the key thing for the U.S. The veteran Christina Schwab, who's one of the co-captains, has generally been doing the point guard duties. Miller started one game at that spot. They would bring Miller in off the bench, but for this game I think it's Miller's shooting, and they're listing her as a forward, but she'll actually play the point guard spot. There's Great Britain's run, a great quarterfinal win over China, but really with a bad start, a good performance all the way through.
Yeah, you try and forget the game against Canada for the British girls. The States, though, they've been fantastic throughout. 5-0 from them. They destroyed the Brazilians in the quarterfinals, but at the end of the quarterfinals, Wheeler was critical of how they were playing. They weren't performing as she would expect.
Matt Wells, the referee, is in the center there. Gustavo Mathias from Brazil and Adam Franczak from Poland. Mr. Mathias is on your right, Mr. Franczak on your left. This is Matt Wells' last Paralympic Games. He's announced it before it started.
An Australian stalwart, really, Matt Wells, and great to see him getting the big games.
So it will be interesting. Miller's starting role is related to the way the U.S. play with the 2 big scorers down low. If you collapse to try to stop them on the side, it leaves the middle open, and if Miller's at the top, she's a deadly shooter from the foul line and the key.
She is, and just some form from this year between these 2 teams. Great Britain and the USA played each other in a competition in Toronto earlier in the year, and Great Britain lost both those matches against the team they play today. They lost 55-46 and then 63-45. So there's some form. That's something for us to look at. They haven't played each other here in Rio.
Amy Conroy, who always seems to be enjoying things, is barely controlling her smile as she's about to take the tap. With Desi Miller will take the top, not as you might expect, Rose Hollerman. And it's controlled by Conroy, and GB will come down with Hazelden handling the ball on the side. Helen Freeman on the baseline. Hollerman coming right out on her. Miller comes over to take her. Conroy now has space for the shot. It misses, and the rebound, well, it came loose, but it's picked up by Hunter.
And Conroy, from that sort of position, important today. She's often a great shooter from outside. It's going to be how her nerves settle early on.
Now Miller, who's very relaxed looking, and it's very deceptive at times. Murray, cross court to Hollerman, and that was neatly picked off, knocked out of bounds by Freeman. They know that cross-court pass is a key part of the American attack.
And brilliant defense by Helen Freeman. She just pushed the Americans out further, left it with 6 on the clock, on the shot clock.
So Murray has moved over to the left side. They get the ball to her quickly. There's Miller in the middle. She knows she has to shoot, and she hits it just before the buzzer. 2-0 to the U.S.
Showing her experience there, Desi Miller, Paralympian at London 2012, and you know, Amy Conroy couldn't put her first shot away. Miller does.
Freeman now. She'll do most of the ball handling for the GB team, and of course is their top scorer, and she hits. Well, that's the easy way to do it. Bring it down yourself, put it up and put it in.
Fantastic shooting. I was going to say she probably will do most of the ball handling, but maybe Great Britain want to keep the ball away from her at times and allow her to impose herself as a forward more than just a ball handler.
Now Hollerman comes down 1-on-2, but is turned away by Conroy. There's Murray. Oh, a nice pass for Gang, and Gang misses the layup. The rebound comes off, and Cargill has it, and we have a chair down.
Gail Gang right underneath the basket, unable to make it count, and Great Britain seizing on the opportunity to get the defensive rebound.
Hunter pops right back up in the chair, and it's inbounded by GB. And now, just as you said, Freeman is controlling the ball. Up the top to Hazelden from the foul line, and she hits. It's 4-2.
And how good is Joy Hazelden? She's only a teenager. She's here in a semi-final of the Paralympic Games, but to her, she just seems completely nerveless. It's amazing.
And Hollerman loses the ball on the dribble, but it was off, I believe, off Murray's hand and chair, and it will stay with the U.S. with 14 on the shot clock.
It came off Hazelden's head there and out of play. Lovely header. Good defensive header, that one.
It's the young GB team, World Under-25 champions, make up so much of this team against a veteran U.S. team. Murray. They're covering her tightly. Miller again in the middle. That's why she's there. You see what happens. Two come out on Murray. Murray sees that Miller's got the middle open, and she cans that shot. We're tied at 4 with 2.5 gone in the first period. And Freeman bringing the ball up again on the right for Great Britain. She's left alone. She has a screen. Off the glass and in. Perfect touch. 6-4.
She's a player that in American collegiate wheelchair basketball has really proved how good she is. She's been MVP. She's really performed. She's going to have an amazing game here today if Great Britain are going to get round the Americans.
Murray going right through, drawing defenders, and Miller, who always seems to be gliding. Murray spins around, drops it to Gang. Gang, and this time she doesn't miss. It's 6-6. Nice pass by Murray.
Yeah, lovely pass. And Gail Gang in the quarterfinals, 7 points at 75%. We've seen her miss one today. She doesn't miss for long.
And Murray, whose reputation is as a shooter, well, she's very good at finding the open player. Freeman now on the left side, and Hunter's out on her. Williams trying to set a screen. There's Hazelden sets one, and Freeman turns back behind Williams. Murray's on her. Hunter comes out to get her, and she hits again. She only had that slight opportunity to get the shot away, and she did.
And it was fantastic from Helen Freeman, but the problem for Great Britain at the moment is unless she keeps up this level of form, USA are just letting her hold the ball and almost taking her on. They're saying, take the shot, take the shot. If you miss, we'll go down the other end and we'll score. What a start to the game.
Well, Miller and Hollerman now, and Hollerman sets a screen for her, and Hollerman hasn't touched the ball yet on offense. It goes over to Murray. She's on the left side now, and Hollerman's on the right. Miller again in the middle, left alone, and doesn't get the roll. And the rebound by Cargill.
Only 38% for Miller in the quarterfinal. Great Britain.
Freeman now comes up on Murray. Williams trying to set the screen. Freeman over to Conroy. And she hits. It's 10-6. Great Britain up by 4.
And this is what we said early on. Conroy, very important outside shooter. She doesn't get in the key much, which is unusual for such a big player, but she's got a very strong outside shot. She's made it count there, and she'll go to the line for 1.
And we've got our first timeout on the court. My guess is it would be called by the U.S., but it was called by Great Britain, leading 10-6 with 4:20 played in the first quarter. And, well, not a surprise by any means, but a great start for Great Britain.
A great start. And the interesting thing here, look at the GB coaches. Miles Thompson, the coach, sits back. He lets his assistant call the play, tell them what they're going to do in the timeout. Price is hugely experienced. He knows his stuff about US wheelchair basketball. They've got so much knowledge on the game on the US.
And Price is an American as well, as is Thompson. Can't really hear what they're saying, unfortunately, at this point. And it was a good sign for Britain that that last bucket came from Morrow, because as you were saying earlier, they don't want Freeman to have to be carrying the whole offense. From Conroy, my mistake, excuse me.
No, Morrow will come into the game later, probably, the youngster. She's been fantastic, but yeah, Amy Conroy's been important in this competition, and in this game she's going to have a real tough time of it.
And now she'll shoot the free throw. The foul was on Hunter. She misses it. The rebound comes loose, though, and Freeman's got the rebound. Quicker out. It went over Holloman. Cross court to Williams. Back to Williams. Outside to Freeman. Conroy trying to set the screen for her. Freeman launches the shot and hits it just at the buzzer. Stuff is dropping for Britain right now. They lead 12-6, just approaching the halfway point of the first period. And wow. I believe, off the top of my head, 6 points is the furthest the U.S. has been down in this entire tournament.
What a shot from Freeman that was.
Miller now. Freeman quickly out on her. Looping pass to Holloman. Conroy was there, and we have a foul off the ball.
This is exactly what Freeman failed to do in London 2012 when these two met. The pressure told. She was so young then. I mean, she's played in 3 Paralympic Games now, but so young back in London. This was such an inexperienced team. The difference today, she's making her baskets.
It was Freeman who drew the foul, trying to keep Desi Miller from moving. Again, the looping pass to Holloman. Miller tries to set the pick for her. Murray comes around. Gang goes to the basket. So does Miller, and Miller cans it. It's 12-8. And when Murray, again, they collapse on Murray. She had 2 alternatives there for the pass.
Totally. They barely used Holloman so far.
Freeman, top of the key, gets the roll, 14-8.
This British team, a team that so regularly finishes in the 7th and 8th place playoff at the Paralympics. At London, they finished 7th, and they were delighted. It was their highest ever finish.
Freeman has 10 of the 14 for GB, and Murray drives and picks up a foul on Conroy.
Yeah, Amy Conroy, a physical player. She's a tall player for Great Britain.
Clock resets to 14. Team's second foul of the quarter. We've got just over 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Great Britain leading by 6. Murray, her first shot, and that was a 9 cushion shot, but it dropped through, and it's 14-10. 4 minutes to play.
I thought about coming back out for Rebecca Murray, but finally we see her shoot one, and of course with Murray it's successful. It so often is.
Freeman again. Holloman now comes out on her. Freeman spins away, and it's stolen, knocked away. Gang for the U.S. She's got Holloman going toward the basket. Hazelden did a nice job of picking her up, but Holloman, so big, takes her time, misses the shot, and Freeman grabs the rebound for Great Britain. They come down now 2-on-2. Freeman swings to the outside. She could have an open look there. Now she does. And the shot's a little long. Holloman now. Can Holloman? No. In the early games, Holloman was taking rebounds and coming out herself. Very quick acceleration, but she hasn't been doing that in the later games. Murray now with Gang again cutting to the hoop. Miller from the foul line, and she hits again. Desi Miller, that's why she's in the game.
Exactly, that's why she's in the game. She's sinking her shots. Freeman's not got anything from the last 2 plays, and that's exactly what I'm saying about Great Britain need to move the ball on more from Freeman. They need to be careful of Miller. Miller playing brilliantly for the States currently.
Freeman out, nice little move, and draws the foul on Holloman. The chairs, the players are strapped tightly into the chairs. The chair becomes as if it were part of the body, and you can watch the move here. Swinging, and Holloman just having to swing into her and hit her in order to try to defend.
In come Griffiths and Love for Great Britain. Holloman, of course, still only 20 years of age, playing in the 2nd Paralympic Games. Picked up 4th at the London Games in 2012.
Freeman's in the paint, takes all the time in the world to set that one up, and cans it 16-12 to Great Britain.
Robin Love coming in, the number 15 for Great Britain, is important. She's had a super tournament so far, and she'll be able to work hard against Desi Miller.
And she adds a bit of height inside as well. So Morrow she complements Morrow very well. Murray doing, again, Miller in the middle, and Miller hits it. It's almost like clockwork. They're doing a great job of stopping Murray, and they can't stop Miller inside. And if they come over to stop Miller, it's going to leave Holloman with some space on the other side, which they don't want. Freeman. Conroy. Murray did enough to take that shot away from her. Freeman now finds room on the baseline, misses, and the rebound to Gang. Desi Miller, probably the most relaxed player in the tournament. Miller comes down and it's like she's just gliding. There's Holloman. She couldn't get the shot away, and that was Love defending. Murray misses, and she's been cold. And the rebound to Freeman.
Great movement of the ball by the USA, but they were having to move the ball because the Great Britain defence was forcing them to keep going and keep going. They couldn't get a shot away to start with, and then Love comes into the play now for Britain.
Love, she's got the screen from Conroy, and Holloman anticipated the pass, and that was knocked away from her. Hunter picked it up. Now Love and Hunter are battling. It's a jump ball, and the possession arrow is with the US, and they'll get the ball, and the possession arrow will switch to GB.
What a first quarter, 16-14. This is a really high-class semi-final. Love and Darlene Hunter.
And the strange thing is, in most games, when you had this much scoring in the first quarter and this close, you would have a frenetic pace. And both teams are playing very relaxed ball, very controlled ball. It's a sign of two good teams. And we tie the game up there with another basket by Desi Miller. She has 12 of the US 16.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Freeman almost plays in that American style, the almost sort of languid style that Miller plays, and it's affecting the game.
Freeman, good dish. Shot won't go, but the rebound, Carrigal got it. Griffiths got it. Conroy gets the bounce, and it's 18-16 GB with 28 seconds to go.
Yeah,
excuse me, that was Love getting it.
Getting the basket. Claire Griffiths, unfortunately, just the balance. She couldn't quite get the shot away, but it worked for Great Britain.
Holloman, great fade, and she lays it in. Desi Miller with the assist. 14 now. GB can work for the last shot.
Press from
and
USA.
you can hear the fans counting it down to help them out. Oh, great. Oh, it was there. Beautiful work, though. Conroy was there. If the pass had been accurate, she would have had a layup in for the last bucket of the quarter. Instead, now 1.7 seconds. Miller won't even bother to try to heave it down court. And the first quarter ends with an 18-18 tie. Great Britain 18, US 18. What a good quarter of basketball.
Look at the shooting, 69%, plays 69%. That is the highest quality shot percentage I remember in the whole competition from the women.
Yeah, it's been good, and as I said, there's nothing frenetic about it. Both teams are coming down, they're playing the game they want to play. They obviously have a game plan in mind, and they're executing it. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, the Americans are almost playing with a more sort of all-round game at the moment. There are the statistics, 69% each, as we said. 9 of 13 shots going for both sides, and very little to choose between the two.
Yeah, and only 3 rebounds for the US and no turnovers for the US, 3 for Britain, but the US hasn't had any points from them. To me, the interesting statistic is the US has 8 assists, the British have 4 assists, and to me what that says is Britain's defense is forcing the US to make more passes.
It is. The other thing that's happening though, Freeman's holding the ball a lot of the play, she's taking a lot of the shots, which is something they'll need to give themselves a plan B at times, because if it stops working for Great Britain, which in a game like this it could do if the US do their job, Great Britain need another option. You've got the likes of Williams, who's in shot there. You've got the likes of Hazelden, who can ball carry, and that's something Great Britain might need to look at to get Freeman ahead of the game.
And here's an interesting point to think about. Freeman has 12 of the 18 for Great Britain. Miller has 12 of the 18 for the US, but Miller is their third option offensively. Their 2 big options haven't yet gotten involved in the offense. If they can get Murray or Holloman involved, Britain has done a great job of keeping the ball away from them, not giving them good shots. Then watch out.
Amy Conroy relatively quiet so far, 15 against the German she got.
And there is Helen Freeman. She had a tremendous first quarter, offensively and defensively. Everybody poised. I love that moment when everybody's poised to start wheeling around. The blocking will begin. Griffiths is on Hollerman right now, but Conroy from three, and it's 21-18.
And the point I was about to make just before Amy Conroy sunk that three was they've gone two really low point players here. Carrigill and Griffiths are only 1.5 point players. It means they can play their biggest lineup, which gives them both experience and pace and height as well.
Murray to Miller. Miller, she hits another one just around the foul line. That's where they've all come, 21-20.
I thought Desi Miller hadn't been on form in this competition. I'm changing my mind on this. She's playing magnificently today. What a start from Miller, 14 points.
Freeman, good pass, and there'll be a foul as Love couldn't get the shot away because she was fouled.
Those statistics, Helen Freeman, 12 points for the game so far. What a start from the GB girls and from the USA. It is literally shot for shot at the moment. Great Britain just a 1 point lead.
That may be the most creative pair of fans I've seen yet in this tournament. And the rebound to Conroy, and she can't make the shot fall. It'll go over to the U.S.
Technical foul called against the U.S. there.
And
definitely really
coach, yes. Do we see what it... And we'll have a timeout by the U.S. This may be one... no, not an arguing timeout, but what I'd like to see what the technical was for. If you come in the lane too early, obviously it's not a foul. You simply would retake the foul shot. If it were a foul,
but it was Conroy taking a shot from open
play.
Yeah,
if she were fouled, she would
Great Britain
fouled.
have called the timeout. I don't know what's happened there, but importantly, the States back under pressure now because they turned the ball over, and it's a bizarre call. I can't quite work out why it's happened.
And we haven't had any statement on it from the scorer's table.
Desi Miller, 14.7 from 8 from the field, marking up Amy Conroy. What a battle this is going to be.
But on the change of possession now. GB inbound. Griffiths, that shot's off, and Hollerman gets the rebound. 22-20, just a minute gone in the second quarter, and Miller brings it down for the U.S. Murray and Hollerman switch sides. Murray cross court, Hollerman's got the screen and hits. We're tied at 22, and that's the first bucket for Rose Hollerman. Sorry, the second bucket for Rose Hollerman.
Such a lethal shooter though, Hollerman. She's a big player. Not scared to take shots from outside though as well.
Freeman, gang cutting her off. Griffiths over to Conroy. Conroy on the baseline, back to Griffiths at the foul line. She's got time. Doesn't go. Hollerman with the rebound again. Miller comes up for the U.S.
Griffiths, a player who for Great Britain is a great passer of the ball, but her shooting really has been off in this competition so far.
Murray, Miller from the foul line, hits another one. It's automatic. It's 24-22. U.S. take the lead with 2 minutes gone in the second quarter. Now Freeman wheels down Miller. Murray. Miller now picks her up. Freeman, can she? Nope, she couldn't get the corner. Now she goes back to the middle. There's a good pass to Love. Love doesn't get it to fall, and Murray with the rebound up to Hollerman. Miller wants to slow things down. Hollerman wanted to go faster. Murray gets it. She's got the screen. She'll take the shot. And she hits. And all of a sudden, Murray and Hollerman have gotten into the offense.
And it's clinical. The USA clinical. When GB miss, the USA goes straight down the other end and they take the points and they roll 4 points ahead.
Yeah, when Britain and Conroy, well, she tried another long one. This one doesn't fall. When Britain has time to set up, they've been able to take those shots away from Murray and Hollerman. But if they don't have all 5 defenders back, it's Miller. She misses. And the rebound to Freeman. 4-on-3 for GB. Freeman wheels through the paint. Miller got a little piece of the ball, and Freeman had to reset the shot. But Love with the rebound. Cross to Conroy. Conroy on the fadeaway, off the glass and through, 26-24.
Very good movement and great shooting by Conroy. At the moment, the pace of the game is suiting the USA. If Great Britain upped the pace, I don't know whether the USA would be able to live with them. With Freeman holding the ball so much, it's playing into the Americans' hands. It's meaning they can control what's happening out here on court.
Murray to Miller to Hollerman, and Hollerman cans it. Beautiful passing. Each one of them passed up a shot to get the better shot for Hollerman.
That was super stuff by Rose Hollerman. 20 years of age, the 3.5-point player. 4 points now, the US lead.
Freeman. Gang is doing a lot of hard work on Freeman. And a good set of passes there. A brilliant pass. And there's the finish.
Sophie Carrigill, the co-captain, getting in under the basket, and it happened because Britain moved the ball. The USA was spread in defence, and Great Britain back within 2. Again, Miller, though, slowing things down.
Find the open man, or open woman in this case. Murray, cross to Hollerman. She spins. Love comes over to pick her up. Back to Murray. Murray waits and hits. Just overplayed on the defense. She let the defender go past, waited and canned it. 5.5 to play, US by 4, 30-26.
Quarter-final, she hit 50%, Rebecca Murray, but that's pretty low for her standards.
And Freeman, another good pass. Conroy lays it in. Sorry, Love lays it in from behind. I'm looking, and they both got the little pigtails is what I was, one's got the band, one doesn't.
Yeah, Robin Love from Scotland, playing for Great Britain.
Hollerman long on that, and the rebound to Carrigill. Up to Freeman.
I know the USA have missed a shot, but it was a long time ago. That was a slip by them.
Freeman's got some little space. Miller, now she comes out on her. Cross court, Conroy. Nice arc on that shot. I love high arc shots. And she swishes it. We're tied at 30 with 4.5 to play.
And Amy Conroy is a player who is a nervy player. She's a player that does suffer from nerves, but coming out here, she's hit 9 points in the first half. It's an amazing start from her.
Desi Miller misses. Griffiths with the rebound. Love. Miller on her, trying to keep her in the back court and stay with her. And Freeman now in the front court, shoots over Murray, off the glass, misses, and Miller grabs the rebound.
Yeah, the US just need to be careful not to sort of sag back in their defense too much against Great Britain here. Great Britain sometimes have no choice.
And again, Hollerman's got the open shot, and she misses this one. Love with the rebound for Great Britain. All of a sudden, the US is going cold on the shooting. But look at it overall. They couldn't keep it up forever. That's the problem when you're shooting outside. But not for Love. It's 32-30. Great Britain by 2 with 3.5 to play.
This is a player who has only come into the Great Britain team in the last year or two. She studied at Edinburgh Napier University. She's joined the game since 2012, when obviously Great Britain's so inspired by the Paralympic Games. And what an impact she's having on this semi-final.
And Love hit the basket. The US took the timeout, and Coach Wheeler wants to have a word with her troops. 3:37 to play in the half. It's 32-30 to Great Britain.
Stephanie Wheeler alongside her, Trooper Johnson on the left-hand side, an NWBA Hall of Famer. Very experienced, the US bench. Wheeler has 2 gold medals in the Paralympic Games herself.
Well, it's interesting that what you heard what they said. She likes the way they're playing defense, that Britain are just hitting their shots. So she's basically saying they can't keep doing that forever.
Yeah, I was going to say, what Stephanie Wheeler knows, or what Stephanie Wheeler is banking on here, is that Great Britain fall back into old habits. And the old habits are, they're not always the greatest shooters in the world game. They're fantastic defenders. They're not always the greatest shooters. The USA are trusting that Rebecca Murray, Hollerman and Miller will just keep going boom, 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 points, and Great Britain at some point will slip up.
It'll be interesting to see if Schwab comes in to play point for the US at any when. At some point, they've gone pretty much with the starting lineup the whole way. And there's Hollerman inside. Freeman had one good swat at the ball. but Holloman just spun around and ties the game up at 32.
Yeah, she waltzed her into the paint, spun round, and the 2 goes down for the USA. 32 apiece in a semi-final. What a start to this first half.
Freeman drives, Williams. Conroy again from the outside. Conroy misses this one, and Miller taps the rebound over to Murray. And Britton stopping them in the zone. Hollerman quickly up to Gang. They beat the 8 seconds across the line. Hollerman now going underneath. They get her the high pass, but it's too high. It goes off her hand and out of bounds and over to Great Britain.
And they beat the 8-second violation there, the US, by moving the ball on and Holloman moving well. But actually, Amy Conroy's defence, not from a Great Britain point of view, strong enough there. Holloman moved her around well, but Conroy could have actually closed her in the American half.
Freeman now, well, she wanted the long shot, and Holloman was really quick to come down and shut that off. Now Gang comes and picks her up. Hazelden is open. Hazelden off the front rim, and Gang with the rebound for the US. Freeman tried to cut her off, and she gives it to Miller, who coasts across the three-point line. Hollerman over to Murray, and Murray, nothing but net.
Wow.
And there's a foul.
Well, she really is the crux of the team, Murray, and she has been for a long time, played in the 2010 World Championships over in Birmingham in Great Britain.
The foul was on Hazelden, and Murray has a chance to complete the three-point play, which she does. It's 35-32 with just over 2 minutes to play in the first half. We also haven't seen the U.S. go with pressure, backcourt pressure at all. They're content to sit back. Freeman, Miller was on her. Good pass inside. First shot was blocked. Second shot climbs the backboard and over the top by Conroy, and the U.S. will take over. It was a great pass.
But I think on that backcourt pressure point, they know that if they take it to that sort of game, Great Britain potentially could out-defend them. Due to the pace of the Brits as Gang.
Hollerman off the glass and in. Good pass, good shot. 5-point lead now for the U.S. with 1:30 to go in the first half. And this has been part of their form, too, is to come on very strong in the last minutes of quarters.
And Great Britain haven't had great last actual quarters in games through the whole competition.
Conroy to Hazelden, back to Conroy. Now Holloman's on her. She got that shot off quickly, and it was a good one on the baseline.
Miles Thompson on the bench for Great Britain.
He's just signaled a defense into them. And let's see what they do. More pressure from GB. Conroy trying to keep Holloman in check, and Holloman now is one-on-one with her as everybody else is waiting to come over the half-court line. She gives it to Desi Miller. Desi puts it in her lap and just swings over. Gets it to Murray. Murray with the shot and hits. Murray's found her range, and when she does, it's deadly.
She's like a shooting robot, isn't she? She really is. 11 points now for the game for Rebecca Murray.
It took her a few shots to get there, but now she's there. And it puts the pressure on you. Freeman.
Oh, no, totally.
And that's what they needed. Charlotte Moore in the game. Just turned 18 years old, calm, and hits the basket, 39-36. Now again, the one-on-one, Hollerman and Conroy, and Hollerman again waiting to set up the offense for the U.S. In some games, she might have tried taking her on. Oh, and that's a good pass to Gang, and Gang cans it coming down the line and asks for the foul, which she doesn't get.
At the end of the half.
And that just beat the buzzer as well. And at halftime, the U.S. lead GB by 5 in what has been a tremendous first half for both teams, 41-36.
Well, the Americans will go in happier at halftime, but they'll very much know they're in a game in this one. They're not used to Great Britain being quite this close. Look at that, 18 points all at the quarter, and then 18-23 in the second. USA just edging ahead by 5. What a second half coming up here at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games.
And we said at the end of the first quarter, the U.S. had not really got Murray or Hollerman involved, and Murray came alive in the second quarter. And still now, the statistics, the U.S. shooting is out of sight at over 70%, and the British shooting at 53%. You would be very happy with that in any game. Steals, offensive rebounds, rebounding is about even. The British, though, with 6 offensive rebounds has made a difference for them. In turnovers, there's nothing there. It's really just the shooting.
Yeah, Great Britain hitting 53%, you definitely take that, but that's a 16% drop from the end of the first, and that's where the 5 points come from. It's too close to call this semi-final, Mike. This really is going to be an absolute stormer. Great Britain could fight back in this, but I still think they need a plan B from Freeman. Conroy's got to get in the game more. Williams has got to get more time on the ball. The USA, we know how many options they've got. Miller, Murray and Holloman are such fantastic players. Gail Geng hasn't been in the game much so far. That's Joy Hazelden's sister there. She's out here in Brazil and she'll be cheering on her sister, loving seeing her in a semi-final of the Paralympic Games.
And at halftime, it's the USA 41, GBR 36. Welcome back to the Rio Olympic Arena. Rio 2016 Paralympic Games women's semifinal in wheelchair basketball. It's halftime, and the United States of America have a narrow 5-point lead over Great Britain, 41-36, in what was not only a high scoring, but a very, very well played first half.
Genuinely one of the best best first halves I've seen in the whole competition so far across either men's or women's. Because the USA won Group B, Great Britain finished second in Group A, and 5 points of difference really tells you how close this one has been. Biggest lead of the game from what I remember in that second half.
GB were up by 6.
Of course they were. GB were up by 6, so but nearly the biggest score of the game to be a lead.
Yeah, and you know, and as I said, I think in the first half, and what impressed me throughout was you never got the frenetic pace that you sometimes have in a back and forth high-scoring game.
And I think that's where Great Britain need to change that. They need to lift the pace. USA will be perfectly happy sitting at this slow, steady style like they're out in 35-degree heat, which of course they're not in an air-conditioned
And for both
stadium.
teams, well, the big story for the US, Desi Miller getting the start over Christina Schwab at the point and coming up with 16 points as the third option when Britain shut down more or less the first two options, Murray and Holloman. And for GB, well, you got a great performance so far by Amy Conroy, who had 11 to Helen Freeman's 12. But really, to me, the key might be Robin Love or someone else to be the third option. Love had 7 in that half, and the U.S. started off right away with the quick passing to Holloman inside for the basket, and the lead goes up to 7.
We know what the USA are going to do. We know how they'll play. It's how Great Britain can respond from a 7-point deficit now and what other options they go to.
Well, their number one option in the first half was Helen Freeman, and she's got the ball now. Desi Miller comes out on her. She goes across to Conroy, who's outside shooting, was such a big factor. Conroy misses her first shot, and we also heard Coach Wheeler from the U.S. basically tell her team to keep playing good D and wait for them to start missing.
And exactly that happened, didn't it? Exactly that happened, and they've gone 7 points clear now.
Murray looked for the cross-court pass to Holloman. She missed, but Hunter got the rebound, gives it back to Holloman, back to Murray, back to Miller, and Miller starts things off with 8 on the shot clock. And this time Holloman, she's shooting from the outside, and she makes it. It's so frustrating. You stop them the first time, and then they get the second chance, and Holloman cans it.
It was poor rebounding from Great Britain. Defensive rebounding is so important, you know, to get the ball back and come back into offense.
Freeman, she comes over to this side, and Holloman picks her up. Gang comes over to help. Hazelden, Freeman on the baseline. Gang can't get there in time. Freeman has the nice pass to the basket, but her shot doesn't drop. And there's a foul as Hunter fought for the rebound and got fouled.
And at the moment, the USA are controlling the game. They've turned it round, they've controlled it. They're controlling Helen Freeman at the moment. They're controlling how she's playing. They're letting her take shots from distance. She's missing them. It's clever play from Stephanie Wheeler.
And the foul was on Freeman, only her second, the team's first in the quarter. And Miller, look at it, well, Freeman nearly left that whole lane open for her. Murray misses from the outside again. Lori Williams with the rebound. They put it in Freeman's hands. Hazelden sets a nice pick. Freeman to Conroy. Hazelden looking for Freeman, 7 on the shot clock. Back to Hazelden, back to Conroy. She's got the look. She misses with an air ball, and Holloman picks it up. And all of a sudden, both Freeman and Conroy look cold. And Holloman comes up now 1-on-2, and now she's attacking the basket. Gang comes to help, but she turns around. Moves behind Gang's screen. Murray is set up in her normal position behind a screen from Hunter. Holloman to Gang. Gang with the shot. Nice shot over Conroy just before the buzzer, and it's clinical.
Not only has the shot gone wrong for Great Britain, their defense there wasn't good enough. They couldn't keep the USA out. The USA 11-point lead now. What a performance from these girls in white, the USA.
6-0 so far in this quarter. And they're lined up at the foul line. They split up. Carrigal setting a screen for Freeman. Freeman goes into the paint now, outside to Conroy. She's got a good look and off the glass, and it goes in and out. Rim does her no favors at all. And here come the U.S. again, Holloman, and she gets the bump from Hazelden, who will draw the foul.
But that play that we just saw there is exactly what Great Britain are doing wrong here. The Americans know Freeman will hold the ball, she'll use up time on the shot clock. They might eventually go to Conroy. If Conroy's hot, she'll hit it. If she's not, they won't, as Love and Griffiths return to the game. Great Britain, if they want any way back into this, they've got to run some different plays. They've got to go through some different people, because Desi Miller, Holloman and Murray are controlling things at the moment, and it'll only get worse for Great Britain. And the Americans are on their way.
I actually think they gain on that substitution, because Love gives them that third option inside, which they don't have. But Murray finds her range again, and it's 49-36, and this is what they don't want now. They have to climb back from a big deficit.
It's Rebecca the robot once more. Just robot-like shooting. It's anything going.
There's Love, and right away, look at the difference. Well, she missed the shot, but she got the good shot inside.
It makes the defense think. She's moving the Americans. The Americans come back languidly again.
Miller, no one picked her up. She punishes them for that mistake. 4 minutes gone, and the U.S. lead is up to 51-36. They have scored 10 unanswered points to start the third quarter.
Now, an interesting point, if you look at women's wheelchair basketball as a whole, if you go into a women's game and you finish, say, 50 points as the amount you score in the game, you're unlucky if you've come away from it and lost the game. But the USA have got 6:09 left in the third, and already they've hit that 50-point target. It should be a close game, this one, as we listen to Miles Thompson, but the States have very much made a statement.
Our half jump, all right? We got to keep our hands on our wheels and keep moving, all right? We had 4 on. There's no way we should give up that layup right there if we keep our hands on our wheels, all right? Hands are ready to set defensively, all right? Stay in the out. Work it out.
Miles Thompson earning his money currently. How's he going to turn this one round? It's going to be an uphill battle from here for Great Britain.
And this is a good test, really, for for a very young team. All of a sudden, you've played a great first half. You're in the game now. Now the more veteran team has had a run. How do you respond to it? Can you get yourselves back into this game?
It's all about the pace for Great Britain. They brought Griffiths back in. Not that she's the quickest player, but Griffiths adds experience.
And there it's Griffiths setting the screen, but Conroy can't get it to go. There's no one under the basket but white jerseys, and Gang gets the rebound. And Miller just brings it up. I just love the way she plays. Murray, open look, basket. You can't leave her open like that. And there doesn't you heard him say, don't take your hands off the wheels. You have to be aggressive there, coming at her, not giving her that shot.
Coming into the competition, I made the call to you, Mike, that I thought the Dutch were going to win the gold medal. I must say, having seen them play here today, you can't look beyond the States.
And there, the basket is good, and the foul. The foul is on Hunter, and Carrigill will go to the line to try a three-point play. And it's interesting you say that, because when the U.S. played the Netherlands in the group stage, the game went very much like this one did. It was very, very close at halftime. The U.S. came out in the third quarter and broke it open by about 10 points, and the Dutch couldn't recover from that point.
22-year-old Sophie Carrigill just missing the shot. I think it's going to go Great Britain's way. Yeah, Mike, they're a bright team, the Americans. They know they can shoot, and they can probably shoot better than anyone in the world. It's their defense that sometimes let them down. It let them down a little bit in their quarter-final. But if they can close teams out, they know they'll outshoot them.
Well, it's Griffiths now outside, and she's got a two-player screen, and she gets it across to Love, who's now outside. Conroy trying to go into the paint, but she's cut off. Look at that, she can't get into the lane. And the shot clock expires, 24-second violation, but that was really key down there, that defensive play.
It was. The problem on the play for Great Britain was it went to Griffiths at the top of the free throw line. Her balance won't be strong enough for her to get the shot away. She's a 1.5 point player. She's got the least balance on court, bar probably Carrigill. So that's why she had to move the ball back to Love, and they ran out of time.
Miller with the long pass, Holloman right out to Murray, and Murray with the hot hand, 55-38. And well, Holloman and Murray are laughing now. It was too easy.
She's already beyond the points total she hit against the Netherlands, 13 out to 17 now, Rebecca Murray.
Oh, that was a good idea for the pass. but they just couldn't connect, and it goes over to the U.S. on the turnover.
What Britain need to be careful of here is the US are controlling matters, the US look comfortable, but Great Britain can't capitulate completely. If they do, it'll be such a shame. You know, if they end up in a bronze medal match for this team, that's a huge, for the Great Britain team, that's a massive, massive achievement. We know how good the Americans are.
And you know that that's probably exactly why Coach Thompson has called the timeout, is to remind them of that. You know, you can still play well even if you're down. You know, you can still do what you intended to do and get ready for the next game. I wouldn't call this one completely done now, but it's an uphill battle.
Totally agree, but how clever of Steph Wheeler. You know, from that timeout she called, and she literally read the script to us.
Yeah.
You know, she read the script. What USA were going to do was they were banking on the fact Great Britain would stop shooting, and they have.
And it's funny, you know, you have X's and O's coaches who take every time out and they're drawing up a play or something like that. And then you have the more general approach coaches. And that's what Steph Wheeler has been throughout. You know, she never seems to get excited about things. She knows that her team know what to do. And that's really what she's there for, is to remind them what they've been coached to do. 55-38 coming out of the timeout, 4.5 minutes to play in the third quarter, and Desi Miller brings it up for the U.S. And again, they leave her alone at the top of the key, and again, she cans it from the foul line.
Amazing stuff from Desi Miller. I mean, if they're going to leave her that alone, why wouldn't you?
That's why she got the start over Schwab. That's what she can do, and it was, I think it was Coach Wheeler figuring that Britain would overplay Hollerman and Murray down low. Conroy hits from the outside.
Taking a long time for Amy Conroy to come back in here with the points. Great Britain finally over 40.
Miller again. She's got her range, 59-40.
Finished fourth, of course, in that team at London 2012, Miller. She wants better than that now. USA, if they get the gold here, would become the most successful women's team in history of the Paralympics.
Freeman got fouled by Miller. She got a nice screen by Love on that. The U.S. women have 3 gold medals, 1 silver and 3 bronze. The German women have 3 golds and 3 silvers. And Israel ranked 3rd on the medal table, going back to the early days.
That extra gold that would just pip the Germans, going on gold medals at the top of the standings as they tend to do.
I like going on overall points, giving 3-2-1 or 5-3-1, depending on which system you use, and then setting a table up by that.
Well, I'm going on the official way of doing things, Mike.
Helen Freeman missed 1, made 1. It's 59-41 with 3.5 to go. Hollerman inside, nice pass from Miller. She can't get it to go, and Freeman with the rebound, coming down now 4-on-4 for Great Britain. Now 5-on-5. Conroy setting a screen for Freeman. She doesn't take advantage of it. That's a good pass. Now Love, she's got the open look, and she can't make it go, but she can get her own rebound and does. Cargill over to Freeman. She just controls it. Gang nearly had it. Cargill moving the ball around nicely. Love with Griffith setting the screen for her, misses, and the rebound comes to Gang, who gives it to Miller.
18-5 for the quarter.
Comes right down the dead center of the court, like every time. And Murray again.
25 for the quarter, 20 points to 5. The USA have been imperious in this quarter. They've been amazing.
Imperial. Freeman and Murray, it's great. Murray cut her off. Freeman, nice pass to Love, and Love cans it. That's what they needed. I think that's what they needed from the start of the quarter, though, not now with 2 minutes to play in the quarter.
Good to see Robin Love pumped by that. They need to find something. They need to change the pace of this game. Look at how it'd be interesting to see Great Britain press the US and see what the US do. At the moment, they're just letting them control everything. But the US are playing superbly.
And Desi Miller from 10 feet. And it's a 20-point game, just under 2 minutes now to play in the third quarter. And the U.S. have stuck with that starting lineup intact.
With the points they've hit, you would.
Freeman again to Love. And that's, well, there you are. She's the third option they really need inside.
Plays the Angels of the North club, Robin Love. What a game she's having in this semi-final. The standout, I'd say, of the British team.
Miller. What do you do? 65-45. Did Love come late to basketball?
Yeah, she joined the setup sort of just after 2012. Got in the women's program a year after starting the game. And now here, no more than 4 years later, Paralympic semi-final, stealing the show for the Brits.
And ball turned over on the offensive foul. So with 1:09 to play, the US will inbound.
To me, I'd love to see Great Britain come out and actually put some pressure on this USA team. US are playing so well. Desi Miller, what a game she's had. But every time she goes, okay, she's missed that one. But how many in a row has she hit? And Great Britain put no pressure on her shot whatsoever.
And that'll be a foul on Hunter as she sent Conroy sprawling, chair to chair. It'd be interesting if they do press. I wouldn't be surprised if Schwab came right into the game to do the ball handling.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, she's so quick, Christina Schwab. And she's such a good passer of the ball as well. I mean, she's such a talented all-rounder, the former track athlete.
That's right. She competed in London in athletics at the 2012 Paralympics instead of basketball. Freeman drives to the hoop, nice move, and lays it in. 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. US by 18. Desi Miller takes the bump. Murray, well, she worked herself open in close. And she's not the one you want to leave alone. It leads back up to 20. 13 left in the quarter, and Helen Freeman brings it up for Britain. And Freeman, she hits now just before the final seconds of the period, and that cuts the lead down to 18. But for the third quarter, the US outscoring the Great Britain team by 26-13, and most of those 13 came in the last 2 minutes for Great Britain. And now after 3 quarters, the US has broken this game open, and they lead 67-49.
Yeah, the problem with that quarter for the British girls is they've tried to match the USA at their own game. The USA play this steady style. They've got the shooters. They know what they're doing. What an amazing team they are, and they're probably going to head into another gold medal match. Great Britain, though, are not up to the statistics on the field goals. You see their 50% plays 73. The USA have matched them shot for shot for shot, and Great Britain were the first to break and miss.
If you were even on rebounding with a team, more or less equal on steals, and shooting 50%, you would expect to be in the lead.
Yeah.
Instead, they're 19-point down.
And that's where the USA are probably at the moment the best team in the world. Murray, Miller, Holloman, they don't miss, or more often than not, they don't miss. And they've just been absolutely unbelievable today.
And the languid shooting of Desi Miller. And there's Murray. And as soon as she gets on, she's almost automatic.
But it's all about control. Semi-finals are so often about control. We saw a very open first half, but then the US just took the game by the scruff of the neck. What Great Britain have failed to do is play their own game and actually beat the US for pace and make the US have to work for their points.
And really in the first 4 minutes or so of this third quarter, Great Britain got the same shots they were getting in the first half. Reasonably good shots most of the time, they just couldn't hit them, and then the game was broken over. And as you said during that third quarter, it's exactly what Coach Wheeler had predicted. So there's the score at the end of 3 quarters, 67-49. The US leading Great Britain by 18 points. Great Britain will inbound to start the fourth and final quarter. Charlotte Moore is in for Britain. Williams is back in. And Conroy hits the 3. That's a great start. 67-52.
If Great Britain are going to break the back of this huge US lead, that's exactly what they need. The US, though, like we know how.
And we have had a substitution. Soldan is in for the US, replacing Hunter.
Former tennis player Soldan.
Murray. Well, the beauty of that was Love was there to defend her, and Murray got that shot off so quickly, barely a look, and just released it.
$1 million question: can you defend Rebecca Murray? I claim you can't. She shoots over anything.
And she's low in the chair. you put a big person on her, she'll still shoot. Freeman hits now. She's got her range back. 2 threes in a row for Great Britain to start the fourth quarter. It's 69-54, and a 14-point lead with 9 minutes is not an insurmountable proposition.
If you had told Miles Thompson just at the start, inside the first minute of the fourth quarter, in a semi-final against the USA, his team would have hit 2 3-pointers and have 55 points, he would have absolutely taken it without a second's contemplation. The sad thing is for them, the US have hit 69.
Murray, she misses, but there's, Soldan lost the rebound, and that was taken away from her by Hazelden, and we've got a foul in the backcourt.
Now, the USA missing. Will Great Britain go tighter on their defense? Will they put more pressure on the likes of Miller? Miller hasn't cracked at all yet, Soldan there.
And the foul was on Desi Miller. Only her second.
Fairly obvious in the end. Bumper cars, that was.
A good bump, yeah. That'll get you into the Australian team easily. Freeman with the shot. And the rebound to Murray. And there's going to be the foul called on Freeman.
14 points the difference. The USA have looked so comfortable since they went 26-13
well,
in the third.
You asked for it, and now you've got it. Full court pressure by Great Britain.
I'm amazed it didn't come earlier in the game. I mean, I'm amazed that they allowed the US to control the pace. I mean, there's Miller again. She doesn't even break a sweat. It's like unbelievable. Just that it literally is a game of chess, this. 9
players out of 10 would turn around one-on-one with Moore and just try to beat her. Go to the hoop, and there it is. Pass to Murray, pass to Hollerman, easy layup.
But it's a game that's 71-55, and you could almost argue that the way Desi Miller breaks the game down, it makes it a really sort of dull spectacle because there's no pace. It's all just wandering around the court.
Freeman working hard to get open to Hazelden for a good shot. She misses, and Murray now has it. Freeman watching her gang with the pass up court for Hollerman, and this time it's Hollerman one-on-one with Conroy. But she waits, and now she comes around. There they got 2-on-1, and Gang can't get the shot away. It's nice defense by Williams, but she's called for the foul.
Quite a game from Laurie Williams, but Gang and Hollerman, they're just working the GB defense, you know, and it was always going to be drawn the foul in the end.
Yeah, Williams had a decent position, just couldn't reach in far enough to get the ball. And Gail Gang will shoot 2.
Another player who's played a lot of basketball in the USA. Williams. In comes Leah Evans, a youngster for this team. She'll be one that's almost certainly en route for Tokyo. In her early 20s, Evans. She's had a good competition.
She's actually listed here as 19.
19, sorry.
19. She's one of 4 teenagers in this British team. You know, most teams in this tournament have 1 teenager, you know, if at all. But we have seen quite a few good young players in this tournament. Bo Kramer, for example, from the Dutch, turned 17 in the tournament.
In the men's competition, Renshi Chokai, the 17-year-old Japanese player.
Gang makes both free throws, 7.5 to play. Freeman, good pass to Conroy inside. Can she? Well, she had to turn around for the layup. The reverse layup's the next move in the repertoire, and she draws the foul on Hollerman. I'm not sure who was Hollerman talking to Williams. Was she talking to the referee? Was she talking to herself there?
I imagine there's some words said between players.
And you know, and I think you did mention it earlier in the game, but you have to remember Hollerman's only 20 years old herself.
She's only 20, but she went to the 2011 Pan Am Games. I mean, and won gold there.
At 14.
The kid's been around for years.
Conroy makes the first, misses the second, and Hollerman gets the rebound of the second one. Murray. And Murray with the pass leading Gang. That was nicely done. 2-on-1 with Hollerman, and she lays it in. I don't think they're having much trouble breaking the press.
They aren't, but the States also, I mean, when you're 2-on-1 with Conroy, she doesn't have a choice. I mean, Gang and Hollerman, both such prolific shooters.
So we'll have a stoppage here as Williams tried to go through 2 chairs and fell over. No foul.
But also breaking a press when you're 19 points clear is a different story from breaking
Sure.
a press when you're 10 clear, 8 clear.
Or if you're even, yeah.
Setting it up earlier and actually taking that risk. Britain had to go for broke if they wanted to get gold. I mean, realistically, are they going to do it in the last 6:56? I doubt it, but let's see.
Conroy wheeling back and forth. The lead pass. Williams couldn't control it. Murray picked it up. The 8-second count is going strong right now. Murray had an arm holding her back, but she gets it over the line to Hollerman. Hollerman's a big target there, and Hollerman will just shoot it herself off the glass and in. It's 77-56. Excuse me, 75-56. Lead back to 19.
20 points for the game, Hollerman. She hit 17 against the Dutch. 47% tonight.
And
Today, her and Miller have just been a different level shooting alongside Murray.
Darlene Hunter, who started the game, comes back in for Soldan. The rest of the U.S. bench has not been used.
But Hunter's a player that you'll barely notice in the game, but trust me, she will be working tirelessly in the background for the USA. She comes up on Freeman there.
And then Gang comes over to help out. But Williams, cutting down the middle, was open and cans the shot.
There's no reason why Laurie Williams shouldn't be one of the leading players in the world at the moment. She is she's got everything in her game, just needs that little bit more confidence. She'll go for the next 4 years, there's no doubt.
Oh, good drop pass, and Hollerman finishes that off. Murray to Hollerman, a deadly combination. The lead now is 21, and Miles Thompson, well, nothing much that he can do about it right now.
It's just a shootout at the moment, this one.
And it's a funny thing because, as you mentioned, he was the U.S.'s defensive coach in the London Paralympics. Knows the team inside out, but you know it doesn't take his knowledge to know what the U.S. is going to do.
I totally agree, but he's tried to, for some reason, and I have no idea why, they're trying to match them stride for stride, game plan for game plan, and it's not the British game.
Look at that, Gang on the fast break all by herself, but it was made by Hollerman, who spun her chair and then gave the pass as she came around.
My one query on that call is I'd call it a semi-fast break with the USA. It's a 3/4 pace break based on how they're playing the game. Totally agreeing with you, Mike. It was a fast break, and anyways. But the way even then,
and you're
so
right
steady.
Because Gang had a defender with her when she took the pass, but she just outpaced her to the hoop with no apparent effort.
There's no rush, and that's the difference. The Great Britain girls, they are rushing their shots more.
So we're just about.
Especially the ball. Stop chair first, then climb the shadow line. Us retreating to a shadow line is feeding right into what they want right now. All right? Hit people, stop chair, then find shadow line. All right?
Yeah, well, that's pretty good advice at any point in the game. But right now, at 81-58, it's really more he's looking ahead to the next game, wanting them to get into the right defensive habits.
The US have played this semi-final perfectly. I mean, hitting 81 points, with 5 minutes to go is just phenomenal. It really is phenomenal in the women's game. I think the thing Great Britain will be disappointed about coming out of a semi-final like this is that their defence hasn't been good enough. They've shot 58 points. Their defence hasn't been good enough on players they know can shoot all sorts. 3-pointer from Freeman.
And that's what they needed. 81-61. It's a 20-point game with 5 minutes to play. Half of the fourth quarter left. Megan Blunk, number 4, is in the game for the U.S., and that's her coming down, and she breaks free and misses the layup. Blunk, another player from the University of Illinois.
Yeah, she is, and she celebrated her birthday the other day against the Algerians and was the outstanding player on that evening.
Ooh, and there's the foul on Hollerman, reaching over the back of Conroy. Conroy will go to the line to shoot. There is a theory which was first propagated by Bill James, the baseball statistician and theorist, that players inevitably played better on their birthday. He gathered the statistics to prove it, that guys on their birthday hit better, pitched better, whatever. And I think it carries through to basketball as well.
Well, this game came a bit early then because they've got Morrow's birthday coming up for Great Britain and Griffiths also on the day of the closing ceremony.
Well, a medal would be a birthday present worth keeping.
Would it?
Hazelden.
I totally agree.
Yeah, you're not going to run off.
You wouldn't turn it
run
down.
Off to the store to
Exchange.
for an exchange.
I've got
That's
my
for
receipt.
sure. Conroy shooting 2. She's got nice shooting form too. I mean, that's the kind of the first thing you watch in wheelchair basketball is the shooting form. Does it translate into the foul shooting, where form is everything?
She's a player that very much helped Great Britain change their sort of their ranking really and step up onto the world stage because she offered the height and, you say, the form of her shot. Occasionally nerves get to her, but her form is good.
Yeah. Blanc with a rather optimistic pass to the double-covered Murray over her head, and right away I think Gail Gang is coming back into the game.
Yeah, there is the co-captain. Hamer and Moore just looking on.
Blanc will have a few minutes to think about that ill-judged pass.
There's another statistic for that survey you were talking about.
Freeman off on the free, and she fouls, an unnecessary foul really on Hollerman. But you heard Coach Thompson saying, you know, move the chairs first and then start thinking about other stuff. And that's what she did. There's Claire Griffiths on the sidelines.
Yep, finishing her career as a Paralympian at the end of Rio 2016.
By an anomaly on this British team at 36 and soon to turn 37. As you just said, she's 10 years older than the next oldest player on the team.
International debut in 1998. Many of these players weren't even born.
And that was a nice pass and a good finish from Williams.
I say many. Moore, Morrow, Hazelden.
A few.
and a good number. Sydney World
And
Championships.
so 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. As you can tell, the result not really in doubt any longer. The level of intensity of commentary wears down just as much as the level of intensity from the players. But 81-64 with 4 minutes to play in the game.
Well, the difficulty with the intensity as well is the way Wheeler controlled that game as they took the lead away from the British girls. She then also controls the game now because she knows that even if Great Britain go and hit a couple of three-pointers, the USA with Holloman on the 15 there is probably going to go down and put something away at the other end. So really, the US have no pressure on them whatsoever, and that's where the intensity's fallen out of the game. You can hear it with the crowd. The crowd noise has died a lot from that first half.
And you could see it right there, because in a close game, Desi Miller would have been yanking that chair to get in front of Freeman and contest that shot, but instead she just let her have it.
Freeman's come out the game as well.
And Hamer has come in for Great Britain. She's on the opposite side of the foul line. And the U.S. going with their top unit.
Well, they've stuck with that throughout the game. I mean, I'm surprised they've stuck with it, because you would think they would give some of their very important players a rest ahead of the final. I mean,
yeah.
You know, fair enough. They're obviously saying, well, we've not won the game yet, but...
And there's another foul. Hamer just got one, and now Williams gets one. And again, 2 fouls. You wonder why in that situation.
I think they're trying to load their team fouls to send the States to the line and get the ball back.
Yeah, but it's a counterproductive. Well, it's the only strategy you have. You need to get the ball back, but counting on them to miss a lot of foul shots is probably optimistic. Freeman comes back in the game now for Great Britain. Of course, they don't play tomorrow. They have a day's rest before the finals. No, they played the finals tomorrow, don't they?
Yeah, it's the men have a rest tomorrow. The men
Why do they do that?
finish off
the rest.
Men finish off their competition after a day's rest tomorrow.
It's an interesting question.
It's been a great competition, this, though, here in Rio. And she's been a great shooter.
And makes the second.
Great Britain 64-83. You don't regularly see such a high-scoring game in the women's section. in wheelchair basketball. It really is testament to both teams shooting today. What a performance from the USA, looking for another gold medal.
Well, Freeman did a nice job of ball handling, drawing defenders to her, hit Williams with the pass. Williams finished it off. It's 83-66 with 3.5 to play. And more full court pressure. And there we get the turnover. Freeman intercepting the pass and Gang getting the foul. And well, you may be right. They should have gone to this earlier, but right now it could be good. It could be good practice for their third place game, assuming that they do wind up in the third place game.
I totally agree on that. I think they have gone to this too little too late, but looking at the third, fourth playoff, Germany, Netherlands, as we see Freeman take the free throw.
Neither is an easy proposition.
Just gets it. Neither is an easy proposition, but Great Britain would rather face Germany in the 3-4. You know that. They've got the form against the Germans. They don't quite have the form against the Netherlands. The Netherlands style is one that disrupts Great Britain to some degree. A great outside shooter, Inge Hutzing, causes a few problems from the Dutch.
Hollerman now. And if you want to eat the clock, Desi Miller is probably the right person to give the ball to because she'll use up most of that 24-second clock. She gets the pass into Gang, and the shot was blocked by Williams, and the U.S. will get possession back with just 4 on the shot clock. Now, how will they deal with this? Well, one thing is that Murray comes out instead of taking the inbound pass.
It's very hard to see a slow-motion replay of Desi Miller.
And well, there's Miller. They got her the ball, she got the shot, but she couldn't make it go, and Williams got the rebound. I think Williams doing a lot here to prove what you were saying earlier about her skills as a player.
I genuinely think she should be the ball carrier for Great Britain. I genuinely think she could be one of the world's top players.
And Hollerman with the rebound as Freeman missed, and Miller brings it up. Gives it to Murray. In the middle to Gang. Back to Miller. 9 on the shot clock. Miller has a screen, but she gives it into Murray. Murray from... She doesn't need much of a look, does she?
She doesn't, but the US can take their time. That's why they can play at this slow, steady pace, because they know when the shot clock gets close, bang, down go the points. And that's something Great Britain don't have. Great Britain can't compete on that level.
A good pass from Conroy, and Freeman hits in the paint. 85-70. It's 15 points now with 2 minutes to play.
Well, both teams have stepped it up here from those results from Toronto earlier in the year. Much higher scoring game, this one.
Hollerman out to Miller. Over to Murray. She misses, and Freeman with the rebound. 1:40 to play. And Freeman coming down fast. She's got a 2-on-1. There's Conroy all alone, and Conroy lays it in. It's 85-72, minute and a half to play.
As we see Geordie Bartlett on the bench, Conroy has had a strong match here. 20 points to the game, and fair play to Great Britain. They are not lying down here. They pretty much know the game's too far away from them now with 1.5 to go.
And well, Murray and Miller set the pick for her, and Murray just goes down with no one near her and lays it in.
Everyone bow down to Rebecca Murray. What a player this girl is. 29 points personal for the game. 87 points for the USA now. And you just have to completely take your hats off to the States. This has been phenomenal stuff.
And that's another good pass. And this is better stuff from Britain too in these last few minutes, although you wouldn't know it by looking at Coach Thompson. But I think they'll come out of the game feeling like they've played well, rather than coming out and feel like they've laid down. And that's got to be a positive.
I think the third quarter will be bitter with them, bearing in mind how they played the rest of the game.
And Murray doesn't get the shot to fall, but Wheeler, Trooper Johnson looks as relaxed as anybody else, and that's been true in every game. He kind of just sits there with his clipboard in front of him,
Steph Wheeler can be fiery on the sidelines. She is quite loud at her team, as we see Rebecca Murray aiming for 30 points. Did you ever doubt it?
No.
What a player she is. Christina Schwab, previously Christina Ripp on the left-hand side there.
I mean, when you looked at the start of the game, and Murray and Hollerman both got off to relatively slow starts. And then you thought, well, okay, but Desi Miller is going to pick up the slack, which she did. And then in the second half, well, whatever adjustments Britain made, it just basically turned the game back into Murray and Hollerman's hands. And that's not a good idea.
It was ominous, you know. I mean, Freeman puts the basket away there and gets the one as well. Great Britain. I still can't believe Great Britain, a team that finished 7th in London. They've been in the 7th, 8th playoffs since, you know, throughout history, and they've hit 76 points against the USA. Seriously, that's insane. But the USA, what a performance to hit 89. I mean, it is beyond magic for the game, for the women's game in wheelchair basketball, that this level of score is actually going on.
And well, the crowd full of locals, and that's what we've seen here at the Olympic Arena, and full of youngsters too.
Yeah,
that's
children
Claire,
over with
Claire
the great
Griffith's nephew, young
niece
nephew
and
niece,
yeah, watching their aunt
with her parents. I hear more of her families down here as well.
Yeah, a good 25,
including her brother.
All over the world. 76-89. Yeah. I can't get over that score. This is still the most anyone scored against the USA in the competition. And the USA.
And I think the player of the match, if you were going to pick one, although it's hard to ignore any 30-point scorer, but you might give it to Desi Miller, because she made the difference, you know, in the opening stages of the game.
Almost depressing for Murray that she's hit 31 points and she's an also-ran, but I totally agree with you.
Desi Miller has 26 and Hollerman has 22 to this point, and Desi Miller shot 72%.
Yeah, Murray can feel slightly hard done by on that call.
And there's Murray. Well, Murray's trying to make up for it with a steal, and she loses her chair, and it's taken back by Freeman, and that will, with one more shot from Conroy, which goes in. 2 seconds remaining in the game, and well, the score is going to look closer than the game actually was, but when you score 78 points and then lose by 11, you've been beaten by a better team, and you've played your hearts out, I think, and that's going to be the story for Great Britain.
You have. Murray hit 31 in the end. I mean, Miller 26 for Great Britain. You know, they have done themselves proud here. Their first ever semi-final, 29 points, Helen Freeman. 22 points for Amy Conroy. Claire Griffiths going through a shot there. She didn't pick up a point today, but they played they let themselves down in the third quarter to a degree. They lost their form. I still don't think Great Britain should have played the way that the USA wanted them to. They played into their hands, but the USA, what a team, what a performance. The North American fans, the US fans can be so proud, and Miles Thompson goes to a team he knows very, very well indeed, and congratulates them, and he'll wish them all the luck for the gold medal game.
Yeah, and he has to congratulate him because it was a great performance. 89 points in a semi-final, you know, and doing it one way in the first half and then the way you expected them to do it in the second half. They were able to turn it on, and Desi Miller's 26 points, and an amazing performance. They gave her the start at point guard for just that reason. The team shot 69%. They didn't miss a free throw. They had 28 rebounds. They got, well, in the end, even on points for turnovers. It's an amazing performance. If you score 78 points, you shoot 55% from the floor, you expect to win that game.
If you take the statistics and show them to Miles Thompson before the game and say, have you won this or lost this, without showing the American side, he'd say, we're going to a gold medal game. But they're beaten by a better team on the day. The USA, wow, what a team. And I can't look beyond them for the final. They've taken their spot, and it's Germany or the Netherlands to come.
And there's the draw, and both Germany and the Netherlands will look at this game, and they'll think, we're going to have a game. The loser of that semifinal game is going to think, we're going to have a real game for the bronze medal, because if they can play with the US, then they can play with us, and maybe, you know, even better.
Couldn't agree more. I 100% think we may have seen the gold and the bronze medalists for the competition. You never know.
Any picks on Netherlands versus Germany?
I can't look beyond the Netherlands on that one. Hootsing's so good for them. Outside shooter of real class as the British girls take the applause of their team. The Americans are the ones celebrating their way to a gold medal match, and they're looking to go for gold again. 2004 and 2008, they went back-to-back gold. Can they get back on top of the podium once more?
And still some spirit from the British fans in the crowd there. Gail Gang celebrating and getting her warm-up jersey on. And I think, yeah, Robin Love certainly played well when she was in, and certainly probably should get more playing time in the bronze medal game, because she gives them that option inside that they don't have when she's not there. And, well, she and Williams commiserating with each other, and that is the way that this played out. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Well, Great Britain came in. They held the United States for a half. It was back and forth, a brilliant half, one of the best halves of basketball we've ever seen from two teams in this tournament. But the U.S. broke the game open in a third quarter where they outscored Britain 26-13 and cruised to a win. An amazingly high score for such a tightly contested game. In the end, the United States of America defeat Great Britain and advance to the final. The final score, U.S. 89, Great Britain 78.